Nothing in life gets pushed off. Things only get pushed on. We think they're getting pushed off because they're getting pushed off of our schedule, but they're actually getting pushed onto the schedule. That's what happens. The difference between the person who does and the person who doesn't, 98% of the time, is not that the person who does is more talented. It's only one thing. It's that the person who does chose to do. That is the whole difference. It's not easy. So don't think it was easy for them. It's not going to be easy for you. And we all have the moral duty and obligation to stand up, pick our heads up, and whatever it is that God gave us, we have to bring it and let it shine. Do this every day this week. You will be a different person. You only need to choose to be one of those people who's going to do it. And I will tell you that most people choose not to. It's not pleasant to take our lives seriously, but it's unbelievably illuminating and transformative when we do. The fundamental challenge that we all have, because God designs us this way, it's no one's fault, God designs us this way, but God wants us then to overcome it, is that we stumble over ourselves. We stumble over ourselves. When our value is dependent on other people, then other people hold the reins to how we're feeling. When you say something to me, I listen to what that says about me. Imagine if when you said something to me, I asked myself what that says about you. Every single one of us has the opportunity to approach life differently. And we approach life differently when we realize that our lives are not about us. We were put here for a mission. That's a choice of perspective. Are we willing to embrace this perspective and be happy? Or are we unwilling to embrace this perspective and be miserable? He wants us to be better today than we were yesterday. And the way we become better is by realizing who our true self is. And it's not the self that we create. It's a self that was given to us. The moment we let go and we just say, I don't need to prove myself to the world. I just need to take what God has given me and use it in the best way possible. What happens? We have just dropped all of that pressure, all of that anxiety, all of that tension, all of that aggravation. And something else happens. We become humble. We ask ourselves, what is the right thing for me to do? And that's what I do. When we see a politician who needs votes and still does the right thing, you're dealing with a high-quality person. And they are probably a very humble person, because it's not about them. The moon reflects the light of the sun. The moon doesn't show up and say, hey, here's my light, look at me. It's not what the moon says, because the moon doesn't have light. The moon gets out of the way so that the light of God can shine, reflects the light of the sun. That's what we are supposed to do. Reflect the light of God, reflect the light of other people, not dominate the room with our arrogant presence. Selfish isn't doing something for yourself. You better be doing things for yourself. You better go to sleep every night for yourself, and you better eat for yourself, and you better exercise for yourself, and do all of the different needs that we need to do for ourselves. It's making what you do all about yourself. That is when something that we are doing for ourselves becomes selfish. Transparency doesn't require exposing yourself. It actually requires eliminating yourself. Transparency means, think of a window. A glass window is transparent. It lets the light shine right through it. By eliminating your self-interest and bias, you can show up unconditionally. Every single time we choose to make a situation less about ourselves, even in my minutia less, we are changing. And every single time we don't do that, but we permit ourselves to be aware that in that moment, I was so self-consumed that I made the whole situation about myself, we are slowly changing ourselves. We were put here by God with a mission. You have an obligation. God is waiting for you and for me to stand up. We cannot push this off any longer. We have to be selfless people, dedicated to the reason God endowed us with our gifts, dedicated to the reason that God designed me as who I am, and we do it just one step at a time. We don't get ahead of ourselves, one step at a time, and you will see unbelievable things happen. We have an obligation, we have to own it, we have to live it.